Welcome to Coins Hunter USA, the ultimate destination for every rare coin lover, collector, and treasure hunter across America. On this channel, we dive deep into the fascinating world of US rare coins, uncovering hidden gems, valuable errors, and surprising stories behind everyday change. Whether you're a seasoned numismatist or just getting started, you're in the right place. Today, we're exploring one of the most iconic and collectible pieces in modern American coinage, the state quarter dollar. This coin might look ordinary at first glance, but trust me, some of these quarters are hiding incredible secrets, rare minting errors, and shockingly high values that could change everything you thought you knew about pocket change. So sit back, watch closely, and let's uncover the story behind today's rare state quarter coin, right here on Coins Hunter USA. Top 1 today, we're about to uncover a real gem that might just be hiding in plain sight. We're turning our spotlight onto a quarter that looks pretty average at first glance, but in certain conditions, it's far from ordinary. I'm talking about the Montana State Quarter from the year 2007. It's part of the legendary 50 State Quarters program, but there's something special, something exceptionally rare, about a few of these coins that collectors will pay tens of thousands of dollars for, and today, we're going to explore why. What makes the 2007 Montana quarter so sought after? What's the story behind its creation? And how could it possibly be worth more than $50,000 today? Stick with us as we explore every angle, from design, history, errors, condition, collector demand, and finally, the shocking price reveal at the end. Now, let's dive into the fascinating world of this remarkable coin. The 2007 Montana State Quarter is part of a broader initiative by the U.S. Mint that ran from 1999 to 2008. This initiative was known as the 50 State Quarters Program, and it remains one of the most successful and widely collected coin series in American history. Each U.S. state had a unique quarter released in the order it entered the Union, with Montana's turn coming in the year 2007, making it the 41st coin in the series. So, what's the big deal with state quarters? Why are they so significant? For many Americans, this program represented the first time coins became more than just money. These quarters celebrated local history, culture, geography, and pride. For some, it was a way to reconnect with their home state or learn about others. For young collectors, it was a thrilling way to start a collection. And for serious numismatists, the unique designs and minting details offered opportunities for discovery and value. Now, Montana's quarter didn't disappoint. In fact, it became one of the most iconic designs of the entire series. On the reverse side of the Montana quarter, you'll find a haunting yet majestic image, the skull of a bison, a powerful symbol of the Old West. It hovers above a sweeping background of Montana's iconic plains and mountainous terrain. Below the skull is the inscription, "Big Sky Country," a well-known nickname that captures the state's breathtaking, wide-open landscapes. This design was chosen by Montanans themselves. It represents the vast wilderness, the state's history of ranching and Native American heritage, and the powerful role of the buffalo in shaping the ecosystem and indigenous cultures. It's more than just a coin design, it's a piece of storytelling cast in metal. Now, let's flip the coin over. The obverse side features the classic image of George Washington, which remained consistent across all 50 state quarters. However, the date, 2007, and the mint mark, either P for Philadelphia, D for Denver, or S for San Francisco, give us key information about where and how the coin was made. But here's where it gets really interesting. While millions of Montana quarters were produced for general circulation, there are a few rare versions that collectors prize above all others. These coins aren't just valuable because they're old or historic. They're valuable because of mistakes. That's right, what makes these quarters so special are the tiny errors, anomalies, and variations that occurred during the minting process. Let's break those down. First, we have the double die error. This occurs when the die used to strike the coin accidentally imprints the design twice, slightly off from the original impression. This creates a ghosting or doubling effect, often visible in the lettering or details of the design. In Montana quarters, doubling has been found in the words, "Big Sky Country," in the intricate detail of the bison skull, and even in parts of Washington's portrait on the obverse. These errors are extremely rare and difficult to spot without a magnifier, but to collectors, they are gold. Then there's the off-center strike error. This happens when the coin isn't properly aligned with the dies during the minting process. Instead of a centered, even strike, you get a coin where part of the design is pushed off to one side, sometimes even cutting off part of the image or words. The more off-center it is, especially if the date and mint mark are still visible, the more valuable the coin becomes. Another highly prized error is the clipped planchet. This occurs when the blank metal disc, or planchet, wasn't properly punched before minting, resulting in a coin that has a small portion missing, almost like it's been bitten by a mouse. This physical error makes the coin incredibly unique and, depending on the severity, can boost its value significantly. There's also something called die cracks and cuds. These are raised lines or blobs of extra metal on the coin caused by worn or damaged dies. While they may seem like imperfections, they're actually highly collectible when clearly visible and located in unique places on the design, especially around the bison skull or the rim. So now you might be wondering, what's the big deal with these errors? Why would a mistake be worth so much? The answer lies in rarity and demand. In the world of numismatics, the fewer there are of something, the more valuable it becomes, especially if collectors are actively searching for it. And error coins, by their very nature, are limited in quantity. They were never intended to exist. So when they're discovered and authenticated, collectors jump at the chance to own something virtually no one else has. But it's not just about the errors. Condition matters. In the coin world, grading is everything. A coin that's been banged around in circulation, scratched, or discolored won't fetch much, even if it's an error coin. But a coin that has never been used in circulation, kept in a protective sleeve or case, and retains its original luster and sharp detail, what we call mint state, can be worth hundreds or even thousands of times its face value. Collectors especially look for coins graded MS65 to MS70, with MS70 being a perfect, flawless specimen. Combine this high grade with a rare mint error, and you've struck literal gold. Now, let's not forget the proof versions of the Montana quarter, which were made in San Francisco and bear the S mint mark. These were struck using specially polished dies on high-quality planchets, giving them a shiny, mirror-like surface. While most of these proof coins are common, error-proof coins, like those with misstrikes or doubling, are exceedingly rare and command top dollar at auctions. So, how do you know if you have a valuable 2007 Montana quarter? First, check for the mint mark. Quarters from Philadelphia, P, and Denver, D, were made for circulation. Those from San Francisco, S, were proofs. Next, inspect the coin closely under good lighting and possibly with a magnifying glass. Look for any abnormalities, doubling, off-center strikes, missing parts, or raised bumps that shouldn't be there. Also, examine the edges. Error coins may have reading problems or planchet defects. If you suspect your coin might be valuable, the best course of action is to have it graded by a professional coin grading service, like PCGS or NGC. They will authenticate, evaluate, and assign it a grade that reflects its condition and value. So now comes the question you've been waiting for: just how much is a rare 2007 Montana State quarter worth? If you have a regular circulated quarter from this year, it's probably only worth 25 cents. If it's in perfect, uncirculated condition, you might get a few dollars from a collector or online. But, if you have a rare Montana quarter, with an error like doubling, an off-center strike, or a clipped planchet, and it's in high-grade, mint-state condition, it could be worth up to $57,000. Yes, you heard that correctly. $57,000. For a single 25-cent coin. That's enough to pay off a car, take a dream vacation, or even make a down payment on a home. And the best part? These coins are out there. They've been found in coin rolls, piggy banks, parking meters, even vending machines. So, the next time you're counting your change or cashing in that jar of quarters, pause for a moment and look carefully. Because you just might be holding a tiny piece of American history, a mistake turned masterpiece, a coin worth more than its weight in silver. Top 2. We're talking about a simple quarter, just 25 cents. But if you think this coin is just spare change, think again. Because in certain rare conditions, this single state quarter could be worth as much as $57,000. No exaggeration. Real collectors, real sales, real value. So if you're a coin collector, a history fan, or just someone who loves the thrill of finding treasure in everyday places, stay tuned because this is one video you absolutely don't want to miss. Let's start by going back to the early 2000s, a time when coin collecting was booming thanks to one of the most ambitious programs ever created by the United States Mint, the 50 State Quarters program. Beginning in 1999 and continuing through 2008, the U.S. Mint released unique quarters for each of the 50 states in the order they joined the Union. This wasn't just a coin release, it was a nationwide celebration. And for many Americans, it marked the beginning of their love affair with collecting coins. In 2001, it was New York's turn. Now think about what New York represents. It's more than a state. It's a symbol of ambition, opportunity, and resilience. Home to the Statue of Liberty, the Empire State Building, Wall Street, and the heartbeat of American culture. So it's no surprise that the New York State Quarter features a bold, symbolic design that captures the essence of the Empire State. On the reverse side of the coin, you'll see a dramatic image of the Statue of Liberty standing proudly in front of a stylized outline of the state of New York. Across the state's shape are lines representing the Hudson River and the Erie Canal, two of the most important waterways in U.S. history. They symbolize the idea of freedom, travel, and connection, showing how New York has long served as a gateway to opportunity. And just above this powerful imagery, there's a phrase that says it all: gateway to freedom. A tribute not only to the Statue of Liberty, but to the millions of immigrants who entered the United States through Ellis Island, chasing dreams and building new lives. Now, while this design is beautiful, patriotic, and historically significant, there's another side to this coin, one that few people know about, and even fewer have been lucky enough to discover, because not all New York quarters were created equally. Some of them were struck with rare and fascinating minting errors that make them incredibly valuable today. And those are the coins we're hunting. Before we talk price, let's look at the kinds of errors and variations that make the 2001 New York State Quarter a holy grail for collectors. The most sought-after variety is a coin struck on the experimental planchet. Yes, that's right. In 2001, while testing new materials for coinage, the U.S. Mint accidentally struck a small number of state quarters using planchets that were intended for the Sacagawea dollar. These planchets were made from a golden-colored manganese brass alloy, giving the coin a totally different appearance. The result? A quarter that looks gold, weighs more than a standard quarter, and is completely out of the ordinary. These quarters weren't supposed to be released into circulation. But some escaped. And today, if you find one, you're looking at something extremely rare and valuable. Only a few are known to exist, and collectors go absolutely wild over them, but that's just the beginning. There are also off-center strike errors, where the coin design is misaligned due to an improperly positioned planchet. These errors can be minor or extreme, but when the misalignment is significant and the date and mint mark are still visible, the coin becomes instantly collectible. Another valuable mint error to look for is the double die, where the coin's design elements, such as letters, numbers, or Liberty's torch, appear to be doubled. This error happened during the hubbing process when the die received multiple, misaligned impressions. While some doubling is very slight and requires magnification, some examples of the New York quarter show strong doubling that can be seen with the naked eye. Those versions are worth far more than just face value. Then there's the clad layer missing error. U.S. quarters are typically made of a copper core with a nickel outer layer. But sometimes, due to a manufacturing error, one of these layers can be missing, resulting in a coin that looks like it's made of solid copper or one that shows red or golden coloration. These naked core, or partial clad, coins are exceptionally rare and highly sought after. Die breaks and cuds are another category to watch out for. These errors occur when part of the die cracks or chips away, causing raised blobs or missing parts in the design. On the New York quarter, this can appear on Liberty's face, on the outline of the state, or near the rim, each error being unique and thus valuable, but just having an error doesn't guarantee a high value. Condition matters, big time. The most valuable quarters are the ones found in mint state condition. That means no scratches, no discoloration, no signs of wear. Coins that have been carefully stored since their release, untouched by circulation, and graded by professional services like PCGS or NGC often receive a high grade, typically MS 65 or above. Combine that level of quality with a rare error and you've got a coin that could be worth thousands, or even more. So how many of these rare error coins exist? That's part of the mystery, and the thrill. No one knows exactly. Some have been authenticated and auctioned, while others are still out there, maybe in a coin jar, a forgotten roll, or even sitting unnoticed in a cash register, and that's why collectors like you and me keep searching. Because sometimes, the most valuable finds are the ones no one saw coming. So let's get to the question you've been waiting for. How much is the rare New York State quarter from 2001 really worth? If you have a regular quarter from that year in average circulated condition, it's probably worth just 25 cents. Maybe a little more if it's shiny and clean, but if you happen to have one with a rare minting error, like a double die, an off-center strike, a missing clad layer, or one of the ultra-rare golden experimental planchet versions, and it's in near-perfect condition, you're looking at a value of up to $57,000. Yes, you heard that right. $57,000. That's what some collectors are willing to pay for one of these elusive, high-grade, error-struck quarters from the year 2001. All for a coin that originally cost only 25 cents. Incredible, isn't it? So here's what you need to do right after this video ends: go check your quarters. Look through your coin rolls. Ask your friends and family if they've got any old change lying around. Because the next big treasure might be sitting right in your hands. Top 3. We're exploring one of the most overlooked and mysterious coins in recent U.S. minting history, the 2013 Perry's Victory and International Peace Memorial Quarter. This coin, part of the America the Beautiful series, may seem like a regular modern quarter at first glance, but for the lucky few who find the rarest versions with specific mint errors and in pristine condition, this coin could be worth a jaw-dropping $65,000. Yes, you heard that right. A quarter from just over a decade ago could be worth more than a luxury car, or a year's salary for many people. So buckle up, coin hunters, because we're going to dive deep into what makes this coin so special, why collectors are racing to find it, and how you can identify one in your own collection. Let's start with the coin itself. The Perry's Victory Quarter was released in 2013 as part of the United States Mint's America the Beautiful Quarters program, which ran from 2010 to 2021. This particular quarter commemorates Perry's Victory and International Peace Memorial, located in Put-in-Bay, Ohio, on South Base Island in Lake Erie. The site honors Commodore Oliver Hazard Perry's naval victory over the British during the War of 1812 and serves as a symbol of the lasting peace between the United States, Britain, and Canada. The memorial itself is a towering Doric column, 352 feet tall, making it the third tallest monument in the U.S. It's a lesser-known but historically rich part of American heritage, and the quarter beautifully captures that spirit. On the reverse side, the coin features a powerful design, the grand memorial rising into the sky, with a figure of a naval officer standing in the foreground, sword in hand, a symbol of leadership, strength, and peace. The words, Perry's Victory, are inscribed across the top, and the bottom includes the name, Ohio, the year, 2013, and the motto, E Pluribus Unum. The obverse side of the coin, like all quarters in the series, features the familiar image of George Washington, along with the mint mark, either P for Philadelphia, D for Denver, or S for San Francisco. Now here's where things get interesting: millions of these coins were produced for circulation. That means most of the 2013 Perry's Victory quarters you find in your change are probably worth exactly what you'd expect, 25 cents. But as any true collector knows, value in the world of coins comes from two things: rarity and condition. And in this case, there are specific mint errors and limited variations that make certain 2013 Perry's Victory quarters extraordinarily rare, and therefore incredibly valuable. Let's talk about the errors first. The most talked about error among collectors is the double die obverse, or DDO. This error occurs when the coin's design is struck more than once, but slightly misaligned, creating a doubling effect on parts of the image or lettering. For the Perry's Victory quarter, this doubling has been found in the words, United States of America, and even in the details of George Washington's profile. The doubling is subtle, but under magnification, it becomes clear, and incredibly exciting for collectors. Another rare minting issue is the off-center strike. This happens when the planchet, the blank metal disc, is not properly aligned during the striking process. The result is a coin where the design is shifted, sometimes dramatically, off to one side. The more off-center it is, especially if the date and mint mark are still visible, the more valuable the coin becomes. And yes, examples of off-center Perry's Victory quarters do exist. There's also the clad layer missing error. Most modern quarters are made with a copper core and a thin nickel layer on the outside. But sometimes, due to a production error, the nickel coating isn't applied, leaving the coin with a strange, reddish tone, almost like a penny. These missing clad layer coins are visually striking and always command high prices among collectors, especially when the error is well centered and on both sides. And let's not forget about the strike-through errors, where foreign material, like grease, thread, or even metal shavings, gets between the die and the planchet, causing part of the design to appear faded or missing. These types of errors can dramatically alter the coin's appearance and increase its value significantly. Now, what about the mint marks? Here's something collectors need to understand: the Philadelphia, P, and Denver, D, mints produced most of the coins for circulation. However, the San Francisco, S, mint produced both proof coins and uncirculated collector versions. The proof versions, with their mirror-like finish and sharp details, were never meant for circulation, but mistakes happen. Occasionally, proof coins escape the collector sets and end up in the wild, and when that happens, especially if the coin contains an error, it becomes a real treasure. But even among the standard circulation coins, the biggest factor influencing value is grade, the condition of the coin. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being a perfect, flawless coin. Coins graded MS 65 or higher are considered to be in mint state, meaning they show no signs of wear and still retain their original luster. These coins are the ones collectors crave, and they're often the ones that bring in the highest prices, especially when they feature errors. So let's say you stumble across a 2013 Perry's Victory quarter in a coin roll or in your change. What should you do? First, look closely at the coin with good lighting or a magnifying glass. Check for doubling, look at the borders, observe the alignment of the design, and inspect for any unusual textures or color variations. If you suspect it's an error coin, or if it just looks unusually pristine, you may want to have it professionally graded by a reputable service like PCGS or NGC. Why? Because a certified coin with a recognized grade and a documented error can be worth not just a few dollars, but potentially thousands, or even tens of thousands. And now, here comes the moment you've been waiting for. If you are lucky enough to find a 2013 Perry's Victory and International Peace Memorial quarter that has a major minting error, like a dramatic double die, a full off-center strike, or a missing clad layer, and it's in mint state condition, professionally graded and authenticated, that coin could be worth as much as $65,000. Yes, you heard that right. $65,000. For one quarter, and that's not just some theoretical value. Real collectors and auction houses have paid big money for rare coins like this. The demand is real, and the potential for discovery is out there. These coins are waiting to be found, not in ancient treasure chests or hidden vaults, but in circulation, in your spare change, in rolls of quarters from the bank, or in that coffee can your grandparents have had for decades. So what are you waiting for? Start hunting. This is why we do what we do here at Coins Hunter USA, to help you recognize the real value of the coins you might already have. Some coins tell a story. Some preserve history. And some are worth small fortunes. Top 4. We're going to talk about a coin that may look ordinary but carries with it a deep connection to America's history, revolutionary pride, and, yes, a stunning surprise in value. We're talking about the 2015 Saratoga National Historical Park quarter, a coin from the America the Beautiful series that could be worth more than you ever imagined. So if you're a coin lover, a collector, or just someone who checks your pocket change, listen very carefully, and stay with us until the end, because you don't want to miss the incredible story behind this powerful little piece of metal. Let's start with the historical heartbeat of this coin, the 2015 Saratoga Quarter was the final release of that year from the America the Beautiful Quarters program, and it honors the Saratoga National Historical Park in New York. For those of you who know your American history, the Battle of Saratoga in 1777 was a crucial turning point in the Revolutionary War. It was the moment when the British forces surrendered to the American troops, and that surrender convinced France to formally ally with the United States, a decision that changed the outcome of the war. The reverse side of the coin captures that exact moment of surrender with incredible symbolism, a detailed image of a British sword being handed to an American officer, marking the end of British dominance in that battle and the beginning of a new chapter in American independence. The words, "British Surrender 1777, sit powerfully near the edge of the coin, a proud reminder of freedom hard-won. On the obverse side, of course, we see the timeless portrait of George Washington, along with the standard inscriptions, United States of America, Liberty, In God We Trust, and the face value, $quarter. But don't let the familiar look of this side fool you, there's more to this coin than meets the eye. Now here's where things get interesting, because not all Saratoga quarters are created equal. The U.S. Mint released these quarters from 3 different mints, the Philadelphia Mint, P, the Denver Mint, D, and the San Francisco Mint, S. While millions of coins were released into general circulation by the P and D mints, the coins from the San Francisco Mint were mostly created for collectors, often in uncirculated or proof condition, but the real excitement comes from rare errors, misstrikes, and unusual variations that occurred during the minting process. These errors are not only rare, they're highly valuable to collectors. One of the most talked about error types found in the 2015 Saratoga Quarter is the double die reverse, DDR. This means that the reverse side of the coin, the one with the sword exchange, was struck more than once, causing certain parts of the design to appear doubled. On some of these error coins, collectors have noticed doubling on the sword handle, the hands, or the words, British Surrender. These small distortions are like fingerprints of a minting mistake, and they can multiply the value of a coin exponentially. Another striking variety is the off-center strike. In this case, the planchet, which is the blank metal disc used to make the coin, isn't properly aligned when it's struck. As a result, the design is shifted off-center. Some of these coins show as much as 10 to 20% off-centering, and if the date and mint mark are still visible, those coins become hot targets in auctions. Then there's the clipped planchet error, where a small piece of the coin is missing due to a fault in the cutting process. It almost looks like a bite was taken out of the coin, but it's not damage, it's a genuine mint error. These are rare and highly desirable. Let's also not forget the struck-through errors. These happen when foreign material, like a piece of cloth, grease, or metal, gets between the die and the blank during the striking process. The resulting coin has unusual imprints or even missing parts of the design. When this happens on a coin like the Saratoga Quarter, especially if it affects the surrender scene, the coin becomes not just rare but a conversation piece among collectors. But the biggest factor that elevates any coin to elite collector status is condition. In numismatics, condition is everything. A coin's grade, ranging from poor, P1, to perfect mint state, MS 70, can make a difference of thousands of dollars. For the Saratoga Quarter, coins graded MS 67 or higher are considered superb and extremely rare in circulation. Imagine you walk into a coin shop or scroll through an auction listing and you see a 2015 Saratoga Quarter graded MS 68, with a confirmed double die reverse. That coin could draw the attention of serious collectors, and serious bids. Another factor? The metal composition and luster. Most quarters are made from a copper-nickel clad, but some collectors have found examples where the outer nickel layer was completely missing, leaving the coin looking coppery red, like a penny. That type of error, a missing clad layer, especially on a historically symbolic coin like this, can turn a simple quarter into a 5-figure treasure. Let's not overlook the rare proof error coins from the San Francisco Mint. Normally, these coins are specially struck with extreme detail and a mirror-like finish, and they're not intended for circulation. But every once in a while, one escapes the mint packaging or ends up in the wrong bin, and that's when it becomes a rare and valuable find in the hands of an observant collector. there have even been reports of die cracks and cuds, where the die itself breaks and leaves behind a raised line or a blob of metal on the coin's surface. These are small imperfections, but in the coin world, they make a big difference in value, and just think about the historical weight this coin carries. The moment of surrender it depicts, the moment a British sword was handed to an American, is one of the most important and symbolic events in U.S. history. That's not just a nice design. That's a national moment frozen in metal. For many collectors, it's not just the rarity or error that matters, it's the emotion, the story, the heritage. So now you might be wondering, what's the real value of this coin? Well, a standard circulated 2015 Saratoga quarter is still worth just 25 cents. But if you're lucky enough to find one of the extremely rare varieties, maybe one with a strong double die reverse, or a major off-center strike, or a full missing clad layer, and especially one that's been professionally graded and verified as mint state, then you, my friend, could be holding something far beyond its face value, because that coin, yes, that quarter, could be worth as much as $77,000. That's $77,000 for a coin you might find in your pocket, your cash register, or a dusty coin jar sitting forgotten in a drawer. So take a closer look the next time you come across a Saratoga quarter. Grab a magnifier. Study the details. You never know what treasure may be hiding in plain sight. Top 5. We're diving deep into one of the most bold and symbolic coins from the U.S. State Quarter series, the 2004 Texas State Quarter. It may look like a regular coin, something you use to buy a soda or toss into a parking meter, but in reality, there's a version of this quarter that could be worth as much as $99,000. Yes, you heard that right. So stay with me, pay close attention, and let's explore how a simple quarter with a lone star on it could potentially change your life. Let's begin with the basics, because to appreciate this coin's rarity, we first need to understand its design and story. The Texas State Quarter was released on June 1, 2004, and it was the 28th coin in the 50 State Quarters program, an initiative that the U.S. Mint launched to honor each of the 50 states with its own commemorative quarter. The reverse of the Texas quarter is powerful in its simplicity. A bold five-pointed lone star, a symbol long associated with the state's independence and pride, overlays a geographic outline of the state. In the background, a flowing rope loops around the coin's edge, representing both the frontier spirit of the state and its ranching heritage. Below the star, you'll find the word Texas, the year 1845, which marks Texas's admission into the Union, and of course, the minting year 2004. On the obverse, you'll see the classic portrait of George Washington, designed by John Flanagan, that we all recognize on regular quarters. It includes the inscriptions, United States of America, Liberty, In God We Trust, and Quarter Dollar. Now, at first glance, this coin looks like millions of others. After all, over 700 million Texas quarters were struck by the U.S. Mint between its Philadelphia, P, and Denver, D, facilities. So why would this coin ever be worth more than face value, let alone thousands of dollars? The answer is simple: rare minting errors, unusual varieties, and extremely high-grade conditions that are so rare they're practically 1 in a million. And that's exactly what collectors live for. One of the most coveted and valuable Texas quarters is the double die error. These occur when the coin die strikes the planchet twice but slightly misaligned. This causes design elements, like the star, the word Texas, or the rope, to appear doubled. While some double dies are faint and hard to see without magnification, the more dramatic and visible ones are incredibly desirable. A Texas quarter with a strong double die on the reverse is a collector's dream, especially in mint state condition. Another type of error that turns this coin from ordinary to extraordinary is the off-center strike. This happens when the coin is not properly centered during the minting process. If the date and the main features of the coin are still visible, even a 10% to 15% off-center error can add thousands to the value. Imagine holding a Texas quarter where the lone star is pushed to one side and a part of the coin is blank. That's not damage, that's a minting mistake with high demand. Then we have the clipped planchet error. This is when the metal blank is improperly cut, leaving a curved section of the coin literally missing. A clipped Texas quarter with visible design elements and clear date is rare, and if it's a clean clip, it can skyrocket in value. There's also the struck-through error, which happens when a foreign object, like grease, thread, or even another piece of metal, gets between the die and the coin during striking. This leads to missing or deformed details on the design. When this occurs on the bold lone star or rope border of the Texas quarter, it's a striking visual error that commands serious money, and we haven't even mentioned one of the most exciting possibilities, the missing clad layer. Most state quarters are made from a copper core with a thin outer layer of nickel. But on rare occasions, one of these layers is absent. The result is a reddish-toned coin that looks entirely different from your everyday quarter. These copper-looking quarters often come from mint errors, and when certified, they fetch a handsome price at auctions. Still, one of the most critical aspects that influence a coin's value, regardless of error, is its condition and grading. Coins are graded on the Sheldon scale, from 1 to 70. Most circulated coins hover in the 20s to 40s. But when a Texas quarter is found in mint state 68 or higher, with a clean, untouched surface, razor-sharp detail, and no signs of wear, it enters an elite category. Professional grading companies like PCGS and NGC have only graded a limited number of Texas quarters at these ultra-high levels. A coin with a rare error and a high grade is incredibly valuable. It's not just rare, it's virtually one of a kind. Let's not forget the proof quarters minted at the San Francisco Mint with the S mint mark. These are struck using specially polished dies and planchets, resulting in mirror-like finishes and extra sharp details. While most proofs are made for collectors and kept in cases, a proof Texas quarter with an error, or worse, one that escaped into circulation, is a shocking find. Now, you may be wondering, how do people actually discover these valuable coins? The answer is surprisingly simple: pay attention to your change. Many of these errors are detectable by the naked eye or with a simple magnifying glass. Others can be verified through coin grading services or by comparing your quarter to reference images online. And remember, if you think you found something special, never clean the coin. Doing so can destroy its value. So, the next time you come across a quarter with a bold star, take a closer look. That 2004 Texas state quarter might be more than just 25 cents. It could be a part of American numismatic history. With the right combination of error, condition, and rarity, this simple state quarter has been sold at prestigious coin auctions and private sales for a price that could leave you speechless. And here comes the moment you've been waiting for. There is a rare version of the 2004 Texas state quarter, featuring a dramatic double die error on the reverse, struck in high mint state condition, and professionally graded. That was sold to a private collector for a staggering price. That coin was sold for $99,000, yes, you heard it right. A single state quarter that you could easily overlook in your pocket change fetched $99,000. So keep your eyes open. Search your drawers, your piggy banks, your old coin jars. You never know what rare treasure you might find sitting right under your nose. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about valuable coins you may already have, don't forget to like, subscribe, and click that bell so you never miss the next big discovery. This is Coins Hunter USA, where every coin tells a story, and some are worth $99,000. Thanks for watching, and until next time, happy coin hunting.